So what I had going this morning is I recorded this clip silently, which I will play for you when we do the screen demonstration here this morning or this afternoon rather, in Zoom. So I'm going to open this up and show you what it looks like. What I did was I captured a picture of a nickel this morning lying on a pad of paper with my smartphone and sent it to myself, which is a lot like what the kids are going to do. They're going to be using their smartphones and or digital cameras and then emailing the images to themselves. This is what it looks like when it opens up on my desktop. It takes me a few seconds here, and what I do is I download these images and drag them to my desktop. And then what I'm going to do is open up a version of Photoshop, a new document in Photoshop. I changed the size of the document from 8.5 by 11 to 12 by 12 with 150 dpi. And the reason for that is so that I retain some of the quality of the nickel. Here I am opening Photoshop. Go ahead and open Photoshop and create the new document as a 12 by 12 with a black background at 150 dpi. Now this is all being done with a program that I have on my desktop here called Screencast-O-Matic. It allows me to capture things like this. I'm changing the background here from white to black with the hexadecimal code. And there it opens as my 12 by 12 document. I go off to the left and grab the image that's on my other desktop screen and drag it in. And it opens up as a smart object here in a second. You can tell that because it's got those lines across it. And that means you can't edit it. So what you have to do is you have to do a right click, rasterize the layer, rasterize it. Once it's rasterized, then you can do something with it. So I'm going to draw a marquee bounding box around it, select the inverse, and delete it, which means it deletes everything else on that layer except what I want to keep. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my magic wand tool. I'm going to go in and I'm going to select the white and blast that away so that all I have left is the nickel, because that's what I want to use for my animation demonstration here. So I'm going to zoom back out and we're going to start working on it. Now you'll notice I've got two layers. I've got one that has the nickel on it and I've got one that's a background that's locked up, a black background. So I'm going to name that one nickel. And I kind of struggle through this a little bit, but basically what you want to do is you want to keep creating two layers one at a time, one with the nickel on it, one with the background, and you keep moving them. So what we'll end up doing ultimately, I think we create something like 19 layers. So I'm going to create another nickel. I'm going to take that nickel and I'm going to create another black background. And I move one background up above the other. I'm going to call that frame 1, and I'm moving it up above underneath the nickel layer. So now what I can do is I can go to layer, and what I want to do is I want to find merge layers here. But I don't want to merge, I only want to merge what's visible, so that became frame 1. That's where the nickel is in the first place. Now I'm going to take the nickel that I didn't merge and move it subtly. And then I'm going to bring that black background up from underneath and position it. And I'm going to duplicate both those layers. And I'm going to shut off frame 1 and name it frame 2 at this point. Oop, I made a mistake there. I don't want to use frame 2. Old frame 1 is frame 2. What I want to do is I want to delete that, and I want to use my blank background instead, because otherwise I'll have two nickels on it, and I only want just the one I moved. So now I'm going to name that frame 2. And then I'm going to merge that one down. And I don't use the shortcuts. I just use the long version of it. I think that'll probably work better with the kids. Now you can see how that's moving. And you just go through this one at a time, and you create another frame each time and move the nickel again. So I'm going to move it now to the next position. You kind of bring up the old frame first so that you have a go-by to know where you're going to move the nickel to. Create the black background again. Name that frame 3. Duplicate those first so that you've got them, shut them off. You want to make sure that you have frame 2 shut off, which I will do here in a minute. This is frame 3. See, I caught myself. I was going to merge there, and then I realized I still had frame 2 open. So I'm going to merge that. So now I've got 3 frames, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I think I jump ahead here rather than make you suffer through me producing all 19. There we are. Now we're at frame 8. See, now it's at the bottom. And what I wanted to do was to stop here and show you how I'm going to make the nickel squash. You know, like when a ball hits the ground, it squashes out. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a scale, and if I don't hold down shift, it makes it smaller. You don't want that. What you want to do is hold shift so it squashes out a little bit. And I think I pull it off to the sides a little bit too, so that it appears as though it actually got bigger. And what I'm doing now is I'm making a copy of the nickel first before I squash it, because what I want to do is I want to have a nickel to continue on with the remainder of the frames up to frame 19. So now I'm going to squish the nickel again. Squish it down, and this time I think I widen it a little bit too. Yeah, then I move it back in the middle. So now it looks like it's going to squash when it hits the ground, like a ball, like a rubber ball. And that one becomes frame 9, I think. We're about halfway through the stop frame animation stuff. Okay, and I think I speed ahead here again so that you don't have to. What I'm doing at this point is I'm going on up, like it's hit the ground and it's gone up. Now we've got all 19 frames open. You can see the nickel has disappeared in the upper right-hand corner. And I'm going to show how we're going to go ahead. Now I'm going through very slowly, showing you each frame at a time, how it works. Squashes down. As you see, each one of those frames has a black background so that it's blocking out what's behind it. If I didn't do that, you would see all of the nickels at once, which would kind of be disconcerting. It wouldn't look like an animation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to add a thing called the timeline. The timeline is what allows you to do the stop motion animation. There's a single frame right there. What it's showing you now, though, is it's showing you you want to go down, and I'm trying to make the screen smaller here so that you can see what I'm doing at the bottom. The way that I've got Screencast-O-Matic, you couldn't see all of my directions for the bottom. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding another frame in. And this time what I want to do is I want to add the next frame, frame 2, new frame, add frame 3, new frame, add frame 4. Now you'll notice at the bottom of each one of those frames there, it says 0 seconds. That means there's no pause. And you can go in and change those if you want to do it in slow-mo, or you can do it like at 0.1 second, 0.2 second. You can make it slower than this, but you can't make it anything less than 0 seconds. And to be honest with you, in order for this to be a full valid animation, this should be 24 frames, not 19, but I'm doing this for the sake of brevity. 24 frames is what's known as common stop motion animation. When you look at a Disney cartoon, everything is filmed in 24 frames a second. So there's the 19 frames, everything, and it's going to play forever. It's just going to loop. And that's what the resultant effect is when you get it all done. Now you can also make it do it just once and then stop. And there's really a cool way where you can output this as a GIF and send it to anybody. They don't necessarily have to have Photoshop. You can send it to parents and friends and things like that, who don't have Photoshop, and you have a good deal of fun with this. Now I'm going to show you how I took this clip that I just created for you. You can see the two parts of it right there, and filmed it in Screencast-O-Matic. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a recording of this, and I'm saving it to a file, and I'm going to call it demo file to share with you. I think I struggle here a little bit again because Screencast-O-Matic is showing as a full screen, and it's cut off part of my directions at the bottom that I wanted to show you. I'm in Premiere now, and what I'm doing is I'm capturing this video with no sound, and I'm exporting it, and it's going to take a few minutes here in order to process it, but I speed it up. So I went in and added something where I did speed and duration, which sped up the process of going from a minute and a half, 2 minutes, down to about 30 seconds, so that you didn't have to suffer through watching all of that really fast. And this is how I save my videos to demonstrate things to people in my classes. So this is the way that I would save a video, for instance, to put up in Canvas. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I believe I'm going to add that into a file here in Zoom Sessions, and I want to save that file. So I go to Zoom Sessions and I open that up, and I'm going to name it Demo Clip. And this is what it looks like when it plays. This is what we just watched, which was me going through the process. You can see both of my cursors moving around there, the one from Screencast-O-Matic the first time, and now my one from Screencast-O-Matic this time. And what I do now is I'm going to save this version for myself and save it as a YouTube video, which I can then put up as a page in Canvas. In order to do that, I have to open my YouTube, I have to open my channel, and then I have to go in here up at the upper right hand corner and upload the video. So I upload the video. It'll look like this. I will open up the file where I had saved the demo clip to. There it is. So I'm going to take the demo clip now, and I'm going to drag it to the file to be uploaded, and it saves it. And I go through various naming processes and everything, and then it goes through saving the thing. And here it is after the pending is all done, after it's recorded itself and it's up in YouTube. I can then open it. You can see it's a 9 or almost a 10-minute video. And I can go here and I can play it. Now, once it starts to play, what I am able to do is go into Share down on the bottom, and I can take out this embed code here, and I can go into Canvas and go into my pages, and I can add this and give a new description to it, and then it's permanently up in Canvas. Anybody can go there anytime. Anybody who has access to my particular Canvas module, you can go in there and you can look at this at any time. The other thing that I can do is I can go up at the top and capture the code where it says youtube.com watch. I can capture that and send that to you as well. And that one can be emailed directly to you. But it's probably better that we are able to put it into Canvas, into modules, and kind of set the class up that way. And when I talk to you this morning or this afternoon, I can show you how we do that. Anyway, I'm done recording this, and I will save this and I will share it with you when we talk.